Because when prices were rising in the United States, I didn't hear CNN talking about that much. As a matter of fact, you ignored most of it.
Measles is coming back. There's so many things that are happening that our federal government makes sure.
You're saying Elon Musk caused the measles?
I'm saying what is happening.
Oh boy, ever since Donald Trump's speech to Congress, things have not been going so well for Democrats. So in this video, we will go over all of the most recent meltdowns surrounding going after Elon Musk, going after tariffs, and how Americans are just not backing Democrats right now. So before we start this video, please like the video. It's the #1 way you can help this channel, and it helps others see the videos as well. Let us begin.
Whoa! Americans on Trump and Joe's efforts. Musk and DOGE should influence government spending and operations. Look at this. 54%. The majority say that he and they should. How about approve of Trump trying to cut staff at government agencies? Again, you get a majority here. 51%.
So here's the problem. All of the major talking points Democrats are trying to present to Americans, it turns out the majority of Americans are just not buying it.
If there ever was an 80-20 or a 90-10 issue in America, it's this one. I mean, President Trump had the young athlete at the State of the Union the other night who'd been really injured in a volleyball game over it. I saw people posting video of that horrific injury, and I still saw liberals on social media laughing. Trump used it to political advantage, but then they expected him to do something about it, which he has done. If Democrats don't get on the right side of at least one 80-20 issue in America, they're going to lose again.
I mean, check this out. There are about 115 million Christian Republicans who would totally disagree with the idea of allowing men and women's sports. This is how bad it is for Democrats, and I think you'll get a chuckle out of this. Christians read the Bible, and the New Testament alone is the most well-documented ancient text in existence. I mean, you can look this up. Christians trust the Bible so much because there are tens of thousands of manuscripts in which they can cross-reference, and if there's one that is not accurate to the rest of the manuscripts, that is a contradiction. The point is, this means Democrats have over 2,000 years of biblical history and text, and they still cannot figure out a policy in those books in which most Christians will line up with Democrats.
Today, Texas Congressman Al Green led a group of Democrats singing "We Shall Overcome."
Now, the only reason why I'm bringing up Christians is because Democrats decided to sing "We Shall Overcome" when we know that was used during the civil rights movement by a lot of Christians who wanted to bring the American public together.
Democrats want to argue that the type of spending that Musk is cutting is mainly necessary programs, but that comes in at just 36%. The wasteful spending actually wins the plurality here at 42%, according to a recent Washington Post Ipsos.
Look at this government. I mean, today we spend about $6.2 trillion. In 2019, we spent $4.45 trillion. How did we go from $4.5 trillion to $6.2 trillion?
Tax
just the
cuts,
last 5 years. No, this is spending. This is federal spending. And so, and on the
Now, I think you'll find this interesting. Democrats have another issue, and left-leaning media. They have no way to prove what exactly will happen if you get rid of all those federal workers and you get rid of government waste or federal programs.
Some of these mistakes that people keep talking about are gutting our agencies that are taking care of, I don't know, paying attention to the bird flu, Ebola, these things that actually can have detrimental impacts on the American people.
We have Ebola in the United States?
Well, we are helping the world be a safer place as well, Scott.
I mean, on the bird flu, you know, Biden slaughtered all the chickens. I don't know if there's any left to kill.
On that note,
Come on, Scott.
It was a bloodbath. You all love that word.
You can laugh. Measles is coming back. There's so many things that are happening that our federal government makes sure.
You're saying Elon Musk caused the measles?
I'm saying.
Now, the reason why I'm showing you that clip is because even Elon Musk and DOGE would agree with Democrats there have been some mistakes. However, at the end of that clip, when you saw all of the other insertions, as you can see from the statistics I showed you at the beginning of the video, the majority of Americans are just not buying it.
If Donald Trump likes to be popular, he must be loving life right now because he's more popular than he's ever been. I mean, his approval
That's a low bar, though.
His approval is good.
It is a low bar.
The DOGE effort is popular. I don't know if you guys saw Harry Hinton's reporting on this morning, but the DOGE effort is popular. And he also reminded us today, he's the president. He's running the country.
Now look, we know Elon Musk is very popular. However, CNN just dropped a new statistic that might be some more bad news for Democrats as far as Elon Musk.
So, Matt, what has all that done for the net worth of the globe's richest man?
Yeah, Boris, it's taken a really very significant hit. So far this year, Elon Musk's net worth has declined by about $97 billion. That doesn't even count today's stock drop. And
this might be a very historic moment for Republicans and Elon Musk. You have to understand, one of the biggest talking points for Democrats and left-leaning media has always been the accusation that Elon Musk is only doing what he's doing because he's trying to become more rich. He's trying to get more money. Meanwhile, this whole time, he literally lost $97 billion, and he probably lost a lot more as well. So that is why right now, that talking point literally doesn't work anymore for Democrats.
All these random cuts they're making in all these departments that they don't even hardly know very well are hurting the American people. How is putting veterans out of work lowering the cost of living? How is taking away food from children lowering the cost of living? How is kicking women off of health care who get Medicaid lowering the cost of living?
Okay, we have to talk about the VA and cutting veteran workers. Please leave your comments down below how you feel about all of this, but here's what Scott Jennings has to say.
It sounds like a lot of people. But then you look down the paragraphs in the memo, they're trying to go back to 2019 staffing levels. Did the VA operate in 2019? Of course it did. A lot of conservatives are looking at the government exploded in the last 5 years. VA is a great example. They did add all these people, and I know they added the burn pits thing. But these agencies, because of COVID, during COVID, got enormous. And we're spending $6+ trillion
but this is not an...
Now, I think I found out why they want to go back to 2019 staffing. It turns out back in 2019, there was a 90% approval rating as far as how veterans felt about the VA. And when you look at the stats today, it's the exact same. There's about a 90% approval rating. I just wanted to give you guys the full picture so you could sort of form your own opinion. And by the way, I am a veteran and I do use the VA. There are a ton of issues that we could address in another video. Nonetheless, let's continue.
The fact that he's cutting down stuff indiscriminately, less so.
Well, it's not all indiscriminate. I mean, we don't really need the gender mice, do we? I mean,
that's not even real.
It is real. I'm sorry, man. It's real.
It's not. No, listen.
Is it real or not?
Hey, hold on a second.
Did we have to say it was real or not?
No, hold on.
It's real.
Now, look, I'm going to be honest with you. I had to fact check Scott Jennings because sometimes he trolls a little bit, and I can't believe he's allowed to call out his own news network. But it turns out Scott was absolutely correct once again. CNN did have to revise or change their fact check on Donald Trump. However, the main reason why I'm actually showing you this clip is to prove to you that Democrats will have a point about DOGE, but then the point ends up not being fully true, and I really think this is why Americans, statistically speaking, and cross-referencing the polls, this is why a lot of Americans are just not trusting Democrats right now.
Yeah, the answer is I thought it was very embarrassing for the Democrats what happened the other night. And that's not said for any other reason other than it's obvious, it's fact. Even CNN fake news said that. They came out and they said it. And worse than CNN is MSNBC, which is the worst. And the good news is very few people watch them anymore. They have lost such credibility. And frankly, what Nicole Wallace said, I've never been a fan of hers, and she's not very talented. But I'll tell you what she said the other day about that young man is disgraceful. She should be forced to resign.
Now, I always say this, I truly think Donald Trump is a lot smarter than people think he is. He always seems to know statistics and polls in a way that people don't realize. Because when you correlate the time that Donald Trump has been the president, the stats have absolutely dropped for MSNBC and CNN. He's not lying. CNN is down 33% and MSNBC is down 46%. In fact, MSNBC has been getting rid of a lot of their staff, and one of their biggest staff members, Joy Reid. So again, things are not looking too good as far as the trust and viewership in the left-leaning media.
One of the most disgusting, shameful, reprehensible things I have ever seen on the news in America. And the bar was pretty high for that accolade. I thought what Nicole Wallace did last night in taking that boy's story and in a weirdly dystopian, horrific way, asking us to think about whether he might himself, What on earth was she thinking?
Now, I think you'll find this interesting because even though MSNBC had one of the worst nights as far as having so much hate and disgust for the news network, they actually had one news segment that called out Democrats.
I talked to a lot of members during they was texting. The staff were on my phones and they were calling. And I think the best way to describe it is the Democratic leadership said they didn't want disruptions and they wanted people to attend and bring a guest and they wanted, little business as usual, and we're fighting back in other ways. There is a palpable disgust, as Claire said, from not just the members but their constituents.
So I just wanted to show you that MSNBC does have the ability to not only have one of the worst nights ever, and they are still feeling the fallout of that terrible news segment, they also had one of the best nights ever because they were able to produce a news segment in which the majority of Americans actually agree with.
While we're on the subject of Elon Musk, is there anyone in America who is comfortable with him and his gang of 20-year-olds using their own computer servers to poke through your tax returns, your health information, and your bank accounts? No oversight, no protections against cyber attack, no guardrails on what they do with your private data. We need a more efficient government. You want to cut waste? I'll help you do it. But change doesn't need to be chaotic.
Speaking of the president, he just passed me a note while I'm standing here. He wanted me to hold this up. This is the poll that I cited, the CBS YouGov poll that shows that 76% of those who watched the president's speech last night approved of his speech. And so it goes to my earlier point that I made in my monologue about how incredibly sad it is that we have a modern-day Democrat Party who is so severely out of touch with the American public. This is a great poll. The ultimate poll, though, came on November 5th when the president won by an overwhelming margin.
I feel like at this point I am literally helping Democrats and left-leaning media as far as what they should be saying and doing to appease Americans, because I don't know how many more polls or statistics I need to show you to prove that Democrats and left-leaning media are just saying and doing the exact opposite thing that Americans are telling them they want done within government or policies.
What do you think will happen in the next few days or weeks?
Look, the number one issue that the American people want us to work on is costs, rising costs of food and of housing and of gas and of cars and of everything else. Tariffs will raise the costs. The kind of tariffs the president proposed on Canada, Mexico, China will raise the cost for the average American family by $2,000. So that is exactly the wrong prescription for what we need.
Now look, if there's any talking point whatsoever that might give a little bit of legitimacy to the Democratic Party, it's the talking point of tariffs against Canada and Mexico. However, I want you guys to check out this next clip that might give you a little bit more of a perspective as far as these tariffs and impacting your life.
America brought back a chips industry in 18 months.
And what was the announcement this week? That a chips maker from Taiwan is opening up a massive operation in Arizona. What was the auto industry announcement this week? That Honda is putting a plant in Indiana. $1.7 trillion already in announcements from this administration on investing in the U.S. economy. I agree with you, what you said earlier. Reindustrializing, juicing American manufacturing. It is a worthy goal, and that is the mission of the tariff plan. He strongly believes in tariffs, and if they're slapped on over a long period of time, we'll see if he's right.
So as you can see, we really have this battle between, well, there's going to be tariffs, but then you have the opposite position of, well, despite all of these tariffs, you still have a ton of investments coming into the United States. So obviously a lot of investors are not that worried about the tariffs. However, there's a little more to the story.
I guess
but the governor,
it's one tool.
The governor is exactly right about
you guys are defending a tariff strategy that's actually not being put in place.
It's not a strategy.
The tariff strategy that you're describing is Trump saying, I believe in tariffs, carte blanche, let's just put them on there. But what he's actually doing is saying tariffs one day, no tariffs the next day. Tariffs one day, no tariffs the next day.
He's trying
if he really believed in what you were saying, he would just stick with his strategy, and he's not doing it.
He's trying to find the sweet spot with countries and industries. And he said today there will be no more extensions past April.
I just have to say.
So you can leave your comments down below how you feel about all of this. Again, you have Democrats saying, well, Donald Trump is putting in tariffs, taking them away, putting them in, taking them away. Then you have Republicans saying, look, I voted for Donald Trump and his aggressive strategy. And also look at all of these investments that are coming into the country. There seems to be, again, when you base it off of the statistics and polls, a lot of trust in Donald Trump right now.
Yes.
And the greatest public relations advice I could give them is this. You found stuff, you're going to find more stuff, and there's going to come a point where you could take this to the Congress and have a really good hearing and a really good public display. That is the next iteration.
However popular or unpopular government is, some of the things that government does are essential.
Can
and
I say something about
feel
that? Listen, the Social Security folks right now, if you're retiring right now and you're turning in your forms, nobody's answering your phone calls, and you're not able to get your money from retiring. That's real stuff that's happening that was not happening 3 months ago.
That is the must play.
So I think Scott Jennings might be the only person on TV right now trying to point out that, look, Elon Musk and DOGE, you should kind of put your money where your mouth is in a very respectful way. Because I don't know if people realize Elon Musk and DOGE have not fully, formally, really gone in front of the public as far as Congress or Senate or some sort of really big hearing for the entire United States and world to see. You're really getting all of these receipts through social media, or he's sending it up to top-ranking officials, and then they will give the public information, such as Donald Trump calling out a bunch of ridiculous things we found in USAID, and he talked about it during the congressional speech, or the speech in front of Congress. Again, my point is, the next step does seem to be that DOGE and Elon Musk, to fully gain the full trust of the United States, they will eventually need to speak in front of the American people, meaning our representatives, and show everybody what exactly they've been doing.